Everybody, it's your girl Lillie Mae, and you already know what time it is. It's consulting time. Let's get to it. Bringing you the greatest and the brightest creators, leaders, and innovators from around the globe. We'll always leave you with joy, jewels, and justice. Purpose over popularity is our motto. Now let's get to it. It's consulting time. Tap in to It's Consulting Time with your girl Lillie Mae on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and ID 104 Radio, home of the independently dope via the Live 365 app. You never want to miss these intentionally purposeful conversations with creatives, leaders, and innovators from around the globe. Tap in, tap in, tap in. What's up, everybody? It's your girl. Hey folks, we are back for another episode of It's Consulting Time, where we are always bringing you a plethora of creatives, innovators, and leaders from around the globe. Purpose over popularity is our motto, and we never fail to leave you with joy, jewels, and justice. Let's chat with our special guest. What's up, guys? Yes, I am back. Yeah, I'm back. It's all me. It's all me. Yeah. So, guys, let's just first and foremost say I am so excited because ID 104 Radio is now live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And you know what? I'm excited. I'm really excited about this movement, right? I'm excited about having all of you there to support the movement. And so I'm just super duper excited. And so I'm hoping that you guys are able to hear me. So let's see here. If you can hear me, drop a hello, a howdy, or something so I know you guys can hear me. All righty. Let's see here. Okay. All righty. So this evening, we have an amazing gentleman here. And so Trevor is someone who is going to definitely provide you with a wealth of information, right? And so I want to go ahead and bring Trevor out. Trevor!
Yeah, I still can't hear you, so I hope you can hear me. I'm not sure what the heck's going on.
I can hear you.
All right. Well, that's all right then.
Okay, guys. So
this will be really strange. The sound check goes fine, and now all the things go crazy. I don't know what goes on around here. This is kind of crazy.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Trevor.
So strange. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
All right, I can do that.
So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have Trevor go out and come back in because Trevor is cool. Trevor is a cool dude. And guys, I want you to just really get everything that Trevor has to offer to you. Now, he is a certified business coach, right? He is with the Professional Business Coaching Association of Canada, right? He has owned, operated, and scaled a lot of different businesses. So, one of his key areas of focus is agile hiring. But we're going to talk a little bit more with Trevor about, can you hear me now?
I totally can hear you.
Yes. All right. So I'm gonna let Trevor introduce himself, and then we're gonna have a conversation. And guys, this conversation is special because what you need to understand is that Trevor's story is a lot of our stories if we are honest about our journey. So, so Trevor, introduce yourself to everybody. Give them the background. Tell them where you hail from right now, and just give us a little of the fun background of Trevor, and then let's dive into the business.
So yeah, I think we're gonna go all over the place today. It's gonna be lots of fun. So I am in British Columbia, Canada. I actually live just below this mountain in this postcard here, and I've lived in big cities. I've lived all over the place. I am a father of 4 children, 22, 18, 15, and 12, and recently 3 years divorced. After a very successful 27 years with a great woman that bore my children. But, some things just don't work out. So that's the way that kind of goes. So I've been a certified professional business coach now for a few years. And the reason I became a business coach is everybody would love to ask me for advice. They would take me out for lunch and they would pick my brain. And it's because over the last 30 years, and I'll kind of age myself there, I've gone from being a bankrupt business owner to going through a series of different types of careers. And thanks to ADHD and neurodivergency, you just never get settled in one place at one time. And yeah, so that's kind of my story as to how I got to here. But it all started, with a failed with a failed business, when I was 20, 21.
So let's go back there. So you started the business at 20. Tell us a little bit about what that startup process looked like.
So I thought that this was going to be easy. Crazy, right? I mean, I thought this was going to be easy. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My father was an immigrant who learned how to do something. He opened up a business. He managed a business. I'm an afterthought. So I have 4 much older siblings, all of which, own their own businesses. One of them is even an accountant. So we're going to complain about them a little bit. And I had a passion for animals. I still do. You'll hear some of the birds chirping or the dogs barking in the background. And a pet shop came up for sale. And my then girlfriend was working at that pet shop and it came up for sale. So I got the bright idea, hey, let's buy this thing. So thinking that I, had a good idea of what business was, come from a family of what business people were, and a brother that was an accountant, how could this go wrong, really?
Indeed.
Right? Indeed. But what I didn't know is, profit margin. I didn't know overhead expenses. I didn't know gross profit, net profit. I didn't know all of these things. And guess what accountants don't tell you? They're accountants. They do your bookkeeping. They do your tax preparing. They do all of that stuff. They're not the business advisors that you would expect them to be. They are number crunchers, to say the least. They've gone to school to do bookkeeping, really, and to do accounting and to do tax filing. And that's what their specialty is. Their specialty is not in running a small business. And so, went in totally blind, actually. Borrowed some money, got a co-signer. My folks, my parents decided to help me out. And I went whole hog into it. The girl that I was dating at the time that then became my wife a few years later. She kind of was in a semi-partnership with it, but then she lost interest right quick when it didn't create the income that was kind of expecting. Yep. It wasn't the cash cow that was expecting. I just didn't know what I didn't know. And then what happens? Well, then the economy turns. There was a recession in around 2000. And what do people not buy when they're in a recession? Extra stuff like expensive pet food, pets, anything like that. So I was in a business that, people just didn't want my services because they had other needs that needed to be filled. So slowly but surely, I continued to take what I thought was, a meager salary out of the company, but I ended up, literally running it into the ground. It took me about 3 years to really run out of all the money and run out of all the things. And I did what anybody does. This was in a small town in northern British Columbia, and I bailed. I left. I packed up. I literally, my wife then, drove to. She was then my wife. We got married while we were in the pet shop business.
Okay.
She was now my wife, and she helped somebody move to a city called Grand Prairie in Alberta, and she came back and said, I think there's a new life for us up there. I think there's a new beginning for us up there.
Okay.
And the decision was then to just shut her down. And by then I had accumulated so much debt and so much, my vendors were after me. The heat guys were, the hydro, the gas company, everybody was after me by that point. I really didn't see a point. I had no real other choice because I didn't really have an income at that point in time, but to go bankrupt. So I filed for bankruptcy. And and then we moved. We packed up. I literally shut the whole company down, the business down. My lease was pretty close to being up. I think it was within 6 months of being up. So I bailed on that too and literally shut the business down in 2 weeks and drove out of the town that I had called home for 20 years previous to that and moved away.
So Trevor, so let's stop there. So in what length of time would you say from the age of 20 to about what age?
20 to 23.
In 3 years, you built a successful business.
Yep.
And lost a successful business within 3 years.
Yeah.
What were you thinking in that moment, though? What were you not now, but what were you? Do you remember what you were thinking in that moment?
I was ashamed. I was guilt-ridden. I was, I had, my parents had helped me out. I still hadn't managed to pay them back. All those, guilty feelings. I think that's why I ended up running from where I lived. Right. Okay. And just, that feeling ashamed that I was a failure. Yeah, right. And that's the painful part. Right. But again, sometimes failure is the best teacher.
Okay.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. So sometimes, we moved and I got a career in automotive sales and I worked in automotive stuff and I was pretty darn good at it.
Okay.
And, I managed to pay my creditors back within a very short period of time because I was successful at that.
Okay.
And I was learning a new skill. But I think the biggest learning part of that was I learned about management. I learned about some sales processes. I worked with another young group of people, those types of things. I was creeping up in age. I was starting to get to be 27. And by then we had, sorry about that. By then we had our first child up there. And we were the first of our kind of friend group to have a child, and that changed the dynamic again, and it changed things again. And we ended up moving to another larger city in Alberta, and I continued my automotive sales there. And then I sold a car to an executive at a transport company, and he saw some skills in me. And he hired me. He was like, and being, commission sales, you can be great 1 month and a hero 1 month in commission sales and zero. And I have a new baby at home. So, right. So I need to be successful for my family. So I went into learning about selling freight, and it was a salaried position and it was stable. And it was all these other things. Again, I learned about other skills. I got other skills that now kind of grow in that, right?
Wow. Trevor, I want to say that, you know, I appreciate your transparency. So one of the things that, you know, I preach and teach is transparency through truth. And you cannot truly grow and overcome if you are not honest about your journey. And I think I was so excited when you accepted the invitation to be here, because social media has made it easy for people to make it appear that they have done this without any issues. It has also made many people appear that they are doing it when they're not doing it. You know, I've never met so many business coaches and tax coaches and life coaches and bathroom coaches and gastrointestinal coaches and all of these coaches in my life until really it really boomed when those PPP loans came to be. You know what I'm saying? But it's really it's really exciting to have a conversation with you, and the conversation be more theory based, because you've been through it. But not only have you been through it, you've studied it. So, Trevor, let's get into kind of how you began to focus on agile hiring. Now, I want you to define agile hiring and then talk to us a little bit about what it is and the importance of agile hiring.
So, carry on a few more years and I become a entrepreneur in the financial services section. So mutual funds, mutual funds, mortgages, life insurance, investments, stocks, bonds, all of those kinds of things. And I take a job with a company, and it's from zero, and I grew it to $10 million. So, you know, that managing all of those assets and managing all of that stuff and understanding a little more about what business looks like. You got to understand, we're dealing with other people's money, and there's a lot of emotion attached to money. And so how does one sleep at night when you are dealing with other people's money? And I had a mantra. I always do what's in the best interest of my clients. So, always doing what's in my client's best interest, I always knew that I was in the right place doing the right thing. I could easily go to sleep at night. I wasn't being shady. I wasn't lying. I wasn't doing anything. So that became a value of mine. And so we go forward a little bit further. Once that I closed that down, that was a lot of time and energy. It was a 24/7 job. People would call you at all times and all places. And I remember being called. I was on holidays. I was, with my family. I was standing on a beach and I had my phone, my BlackBerry in my hand, talking to a client. Yeah, I know. I was a BlackBerry guy. Talking on my phone, and I was talking to a client that wanted me to do something, but I was on holidays. Now I could get it done, but it was also outside of his risk tolerance. It was outside of what he should be doing. And it was like trying to encourage him to stay out of it. He got angry at me. Eventually he pulled all his funds like that I was managing of his out because he didn't think I was serving him. And at that point, it was like, okay, this job is ruining my vacation. This job is ruining it's taking so much of my time. I was away from my children late at night visiting clients. I was, doing things like that. So I took a break. I sold off those assets, and it allowed me to take some time off. And I then What did I do then? I built a fence. I helped another business owner who had
you built a fence.
I built a fence. It was almost such a relaxing thing to be doing, building a fence, right? Like after being under so much stress all the time, building a fence. And I went into business management for a plumbing and heating company, and then another plumbing and heating company, and managing lots of staff, and really finding my niche in people. I understand people. And you add that with more training. I took a human resources course. I've some management stuff, and we grew another business from 2 million to 4 million, from 17 employees to 27 employees. We really grew something.
Yeah.
But there was something missing in that business. It wasn't sustainable. Things were kind of falling apart, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And even though we were successful, there was still lots of struggles.
Okay.
And again, failure is a great teacher. Thank you, failure. So basically it boiled down to that this company was missing something, and what it was missing was a clear value. It had mission. It had no vision, and it had no values.
No mission, no vision, no value. So we looking at okay, right? Let's go.
Here we are. We're just flying by the seat of our pants with no map, no direction, as fast as we can go, and not paying attention. And that's about the time my father passed away. And when that happened, I didn't realize how that was going to hit me. And I ended up needing some time off. And then I realized that the owner of that company was kind of, I don't know what the right word is for it, a jerk. That's a light word. I'd like to use some other nice, big, colorful ones, but let's not get into that. Let's just call it what it was.
I'm with you.
So I knew I couldn't go back to that if that's the way he was going to treat me in a time where I was so vulnerable. And we talk about this whole idea of, mental health and all this other stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm in a vulnerable position, and he's a jerk. And so I don't work for him anymore. And so then I'm looking again. And so now I work for another company as a manager, and we just keep going. And this is about the time I get certified as a professional business coach. I'm taking all of these experiences and all of these little pieces of dealing with all of these little things. And there's some stuff that we missed, about a 15-year gap in there somewhere.
Absolutely.
But we take all of these things, and then I become a certified coach. So when I say I've been there, done that, I've hired people. Even before I owned the pet shop, I worked for a company out of high school, and I hired my first employee with that company. They trusted me. They trusted me with learning how to handle and how to go through the hiring process. When I was in a pet shop, I had staff. When I was, as I grew into management within the automotive industry, we have staff. I learn a lot of these soft skills. When you own your own business, you learn more about it, even more. And so where do we go from there? We take this all in, and we then learn how to be a business coach, and we take this in. So now you get 30. Now people get 30 years of my experience. They get 30 years of my brain.
Wow.
And they get to learn from my mistakes before they have to make them. And that's what I'm giving them.
We gotta stop. So okay, let me make sure I understand this. You didn't just take a 6-week class and decide that you were a professional business coach.
No.
You literally established a successful business in your late adolescence, because let's just be real, when you're 20 to 25, you're still in your late adolescence. If y'all didn't know
Yep.
that, you're still in, especially nowadays, back in the day it was a little bit different, but right now you're still in your late adolescence. And so you established this business before your brain was even thoroughly developed. It was successful due to knowing a lot but not enough. You had some issues.
Yep.
But you still then came back and worked in corporate America and acquired all of these amazing skills and probably some certs that you then began to hone and create your own consultative capacity, where you can now go and get certified as a business coach when you already had some of that knowledge, but now you're certified and you can really start to take all of the other experiences. And now, what, 30 years later now?
30 years later, I just turned 50.
30 years later, you are operating multiple amazing entities that every human resources department in the United States and Canada need to access. So talk to us. Talk to us a little bit about the entities that you operate so eloquently now.
So let's talk about where we're at today. I mean, Canada and the US, we're in a pickle. We're dealing with these Gen Zers, these new kids, these you hit the nail on the head. When I was 21, it is nothing like when my kid is 21. I walked to school. We drove them to school. We've developed this helicopter parenting where we do everything for our children. And where when I was growing up, you were given $5 and you headed to the store and you made mistakes. You lost your money. You did things. And we don't let our kids make those same mistakes.
Nope. Not at all.
So, and then we have an education system that's all over the map about inclusivity, about anti-bullying, all of these good things. Don't get me wrong. Some of them a little bit extreme sometimes. But when I was 18, when I graduated, our parents were expecting us to get a job, move out, go to university, move out, get on with our lives.
That's it.
Our children, and I have a 22-year-old. Don't think I don't have experience in this department either. I have a 22-year-old that proclaimed to me once when he was 19, I think he was 19, and he said, "Dad, you didn't teach me effort." I'm like, what? Like, how? Like, this is something crazy, right?
Wait, what? You didn't teach him effort?
No, and you've got to, and I was a father that worked a 9 to 5. I worked a side gig. I managed apartment buildings. I worked hard to put food on my table every day.
Yeah.
And my older brother, stated it best. He goes, 26 is the new 18, or was the old 18. The old 18 is now 26.
It seemed like 45 is the old 18.
Some people. Mom and dad do they do everything for their kids. They get them to the appointments on time. They get them to soccer on time. They get them to, do their homework. Parents, doing children's homework to get them the passing grade.
Indeed.
We do so much for our kids. We leave them without proper tools at 18 to function in the world. So they have to stick around, and we teach the skills then between the ages of 20 and 28, 32, I don't know.
When they're already trained and molded into who they're going to be. And Trevor, I'm so glad you're talking about this. Guys, those of you under the sound of my voice, everybody know I say it all the time. I don't have children, but I feel like I've parented enough to understand that a lot of times and I have this conversation with my, close, intimate circle. A lot of times, parents have a tendency to parent such that they can secure their own insecurities. And what happens is you end up creating a child that is going to either, and I go to the extreme, that is going to either end up with narcissistic personality disorder or extreme depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Or a combination of both. Because what ends up happening is you cater to this kid so much that they have this grandiose sense of self and superiority. There's a difference between confidence and the grandiose sense of self. It's different. And so, Trevor, I think that when you hit the nail on the head about needing, to be able to identify right behaviors and things of that nature, and when working with human resources departments, it's sad to say these Gen Zers are not in the workplace. They're not in the workplace. They don't want to work for anybody.
Some do. We do also have some diamonds in the rough. We have some that we have. What else we don't give them, because they don't function on their own, is they have zero confidence. And confidence is they haven't made any mistakes to learn from them. So they don't have that confidence going forward. So when we're talking about them in an employment way, we need to think about, okay, we think we're hiring a 22-year-old, but really we're hiring what Gen Xers were as a 16-year-old. And they have zero confidence. And this is the part that we have to, when we're talking about hiring Gen Zers, they have zero confidence. And I'm looking at my crystal ball. They also went on all the trips with mom and dad. They did all the things. They are feeling very entitled to a life of I don't know, a life of stuff, life of experience. And they feel very entitled. And they feel very entitled to that. And
Gimme.
So this is what we have to hire from, right? These are the people. This is our future, folks. Like, this is the part. So when it comes to hiring, agile hiring, we live also in this world of right, swipe left, instant gratification, all of that stuff on the phone. Everything's quick and fast. And the old ways of hiring don't work. The whole idea of creating a resume, creating a cover letter, and basing things on skills and experiences that they don't have. And I don't care who you are or where you're at in the whole wide world of it. You could be a 40-year-old and you could be sitting at your desk quietly quitting. And that is basically, you are just collecting a paycheck because it's bad where you are, but you're not bad enough to change careers. There's those people too.
Yep.
And they're on their, it's just the way that the world has turned. Now we also have created this, really low unemployment. Economies are picking up. Things are crazy. There's not, lots of people are entitled to a certain, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that.
That's true.
How do we deal with that?
Yep.
And that's where agile hiring really starts to show its strengths.
Okay.
Because we need to think about values. We have created, through our school system, inclusivity and all of these other things. Our kids have watched our parents kill themselves for a 9-to-5 job.
Yes.
So, and because of what we've raised them into, they are feeling that they're entitled to something that doesn't look like that.
That's true.
A lot of them are neurodivergent. We know what neurodivergent. I'm a 50-year-old neurodivergent guy. Like that, I was so misunderstood, but now we understand. And so we have also this gig-based economy where people only stay 2-3 years at a job, where that used to look bad on a resume. It's
for real
commonplace now.
Trevor, you are so right. I mean, I'm gonna tell you something, and I think, and I'm gonna tell you, I think it started with Gen Xers and Gen Y millennials. Gen X's to Gen Y, because for me, I always say now, yes, I'm a millennial, but having older parents, I grew up more like a baby boomer.
Yep.
However, the criminal justice system and the education system is still a traditionalist system. If you get in there, you're going to get stuck if you don't get out. And I see people staying in those positions 10, 20, 30 years, still staying. Mm-hmm. Teachers, the same thing. But what I realized, I had a mentor almost like yourself, and I will never forget. Tom Morris said, Lillie, work in every area of discipline, that you've been educated in for 3 to 5 years and get out. Because by the time you are 40, you will have mastered, that information enough to the point that your level of competency you'll be able to consult. And I'm telling you, Trevor, for someone who is of that baby boomer generation to teach me that, when I was already in my mid-20s when he taught me that. Mm-hmm. You follow me? Yep. So I'm listening to you and I'm just thinking, we're in an interesting spot, Trevor. We're in an interesting spot because Gen Zers have a gift. They have a gift that they are resilient, but it's almost like they're resilient in some of the wrong spaces, if you will.
They don't know themselves. They don't have confidence.
That's it.
That's it. So what can we do as employers is we can provide them opportunities, but they don't have, if you look at a traditional job ad that has skills and responsibilities, listen to that word. Lillie Mae, if I said, hey, I've got some responsibilities I'd like to give you. Do you want any of those? But yet.
What are those?
Right. Do we see car ads say, oh, by the way, your responsibilities with this car are you need to pay for the insurance, you need to pay the gas, and you've got to do oil changes. They don't advertise that because that's not advertising.
They don't.
So we call job ads, and they're terrible. They talk about skills and responsibilities. And if business owners are looking for long-term employees, one, get over it. You're not going to get them.
Indeed.
And if you do want to keep them around a little longer, they've got to feel like they fit in, and that they have purpose, and that they have a place, and that they have direction, because our Gen Zers want direction. They want to know where they're going. They want to know how they're going to get there. They did a recent poll and they said, okay, Gen Zers, what do you want? I want to make $100,000. Right? That sounds like a good answer to me. How about this? I will give you a place to work where you can feel included, where I have values that match your values. Obviously, once we have that alignment, I will start you out at $40,000, but the path to $100,000 is this. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay. And you're going to learn some skills. Absolutely. You can make $100,000 doing the XYZ career, but you have to have some skills first. So I'm going to hire you at the bottom end of that scale, and we're going to grow you into it. Yeah. And we're going to get you there. And that's what a value-based job ad does. It tells the story of your company. It tells the story of your culture. So many businesses have mission, vision, value statements that the management staff was told by some consultant.
Yep.
And they were told, oh, we need mission, vision, values. Okay. So then they go off on a weekend retreat, or they spend some time and they don't consult their employees, and they come up with this mission, vision, value, and they slap it on the wall.
Yep.
Never to be talked about again. And I'm telling you that the mission, vision, value of your company is what every decision within your company needs to be made through. It is the filter. If your filter is integrity, and you have a vendor that is shady,
Mm-hmm.
it shouldn't be your vendor. If you hire an employee that lacks integrity, you shouldn't be hiring them. It's a filter. If timeliness or respect is a value of your company, then everything around that, your lowest level employee should be able to make a decision for your company under the rules of your mission, vision, value.
Whoo! Trevor, hold on. Whoo. And listen, you got a HR manager on here, and she is agreeing with everything you're saying. And I know her office don't operate like that. So listen, I know that's why she on here like, can you come into my world? Yes, guys, listen. Y'all not getting all of this from Trevor. Y'all not getting it for free. He does offer a service, and we're gonna talk about that in a few minutes. So Trevor, tell the people how you can help them.
I can help I'm a business coach. I can help with understanding your financials. That is a big problem. So many of us are unintentional business owners. We started out, we didn't go to university, we didn't go to college to take a business course and then buy a business and then go forth. We started out as plumbers, we started out as financial planners or pet shop owners or whatever, and we developed ourselves into a business owner. We made the decision, I want to be more independent. Yes. And I want to tell you, it's mostly the neurodivergent that became business owners, the ADHDers, because they were the round peg that didn't fit into the square hole. So they themselves are mostly the business owners. They went out on their own. Absolutely. But what did you know? You knew how to plumb. You don't know business. Nope. You know how to plumb. You don't know how to hire. You know how to plumb. You don't know how to create business systems. Indeed. You know how to plumb. You don't know how to create a mission, vision, value statement. And that's where business coaching comes in. We can go through, we can teach you how to market. Do you know what your ideal client is? Your ideal client avatar is? It works. Do you know what your ideal employee looks like? Yes. All of these things, because we weren't intentionally, originally business owners, and we've decided to make that business, we're going to make mistakes, just like I did. Right? Just like we just make mistakes, and then we try to learn from them and grow from them. And hopefully I can stop a few people from going bankrupt before they make a couple big mistakes like I did. That's it. And right now, I think the biggest risk to business is skills. Like, we just don't have the people anymore. Yep. And so many, 70% of people are out there in jobs where they're quietly quitting. They don't like what they do. They don't fit in where they're at. They don't feel valued. They don't feel all of these other things. That's where your next great employee is. And if you don't write job ads, and if you don't appeal to them, how are you going to find them?
So, Trevor, you know something? Let me tell you what's so interesting. I'm listening to you talk, and I'm thinking about, I wonder how many HR departments really think about what their job descriptions look like.
You know what? I don't think they have a clue.
I don't either, because I'm thinking about the ones that I see, and I'm thinking about, like, it says responsibilities and duties. It's almost like it needs to be like, would you like to da 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 and da 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 and da 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 da? Well, here at da 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 da, you can do that on a daily basis or something like that.
That's an advertisement.
Yes.
Yes. And that's a value-based advertisement. I use artificial intelligence.
Okay.
I can
take.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm not an old school Gen Xer. I'm a new school Gen Xer.
Yes.
So I can take your employee avatar, the one that you're looking for. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I can take your values of your company. If we can go through and do one of those personality profiles and you're looking for a specific personality, I can build you a job ad that will be appealing to exactly the personality you want and appeals to the people that have the values that you have, and you're going to get more applications. 6 times more applications, actually.
Wow.
And it sounds too good to be true, but if you think about yourself, it's like building a job ad. You can have all the skills and responsibilities, and you could attract a vegan to become a butcher under the right, but a vegan's never going to work for a butcher shop, obviously. Indeed, right?
Indeed.
But if we left,
well, I don't know, Trevor. Some of these new school vegans, because everybody jump on these fasts. They know they ain't a bit more vegan than the man in the moon, but everybody want to be a vegan because everybody is a vegan, honey. But
anyways, we write good job ads, and we can attract the right people with the right type of personality. Hire the person, train the skills. The skills are a bonus. If they know how to present themselves, show up every day, and learn. And that's what these Gen Xers or Gen Zers, the Gen Zers are good at learning.
True.
And teach them a skill and give them some confidence and move them up the ladder within your company. You will find that you can appeal to the right person with the right values, and that person's going to stay with you longer because they're going to buy into your culture. Wow. They're going to buy into your brand. So Agile Hiring is exactly that. So if you go to agilehiring.ca, it literally, you can go through and listen to a video that I post, and you can take a mini course there. And the mini course is going to be free for about another month before I start taking it down. It will talk to you about creating that ideal employee avatar. It'll talk to you about exploring your mission, vision, values. It'll talk to you about how to create what a value-based job ad looks like. Okay. It'll talk to you about behaviors, the actual 4 personalities of DISC, and how to apply that. And it will give you the idea, the basis of Agile Hiring, and you can do it yourself. Okay. But here's the statistic, though. 2% of you will do it yourself. Humans are inherently lazy. And we want things done for us.
True.
So you can then book the 90-minute hiring review. You can then work with me as a coach to deal with your hiring, to deal with if you're looking for value alignment, if you're losing employees, when companies lose employees, it's because the employee wants to leave. The culture isn't there. The HR department hasn't done their job in keeping you there.
That's it.
We're not stealing employees from other companies. We are attracting them to something that they are better aligned with.
That's it.
Right?
That's it. Yep.
Employees are yours to lose and yours to gain.
Ooh.
And so if you don't have that kind of stuff together, if you don't have a solid vision, a solid mission, and know what you really try to stand for, your values, if you don't know and live and breathe and live and die by your values, you're going to find that you're going to struggle in your business. It's going to be hard to make decisions. You're going to make decisions that are going to lead you down paths that you shouldn't be down, because guess what? They're not in your wheelhouse. They're not part of your value system.
Wow, Trevor, like for real, guys. So listen, because y'all can't have it all. However, one thing I will say, and I'm gonna put it up one more time, guys. You can book a free 90-minute hiring review with Trevor today. Let him know you saw him on this consulting time, and I want you to just go over to his website. I want you to check it out, agilehiring.ca. And I want you to understand something, that sometimes you got to go outside of your network. You got to go outside of your area to really find someone whose values aligns with yours. Trevor and I met in a very technologically savvy way. We did meet at work. We met right here. And he sold himself. He sold himself in a value and mission based way. And I could not help but buy into him and bring him on his consulting time. And so, Trevor, first and foremost, thank you for accepting the invitation. But more importantly, thank you just for all of the knowledge that you have given. And I'm not going to let you give it all away because these folks pay for what they want to pay for. They
Well,
pay,
we haven't even scratched the surface. Once you hired that person, oh my gosh, then the fun begins, because hiring somebody is just like dating somebody. You go through phases of dating. You go through the honeymoon period. You go through that some red flags are coming up, and then it's not until the 9th or 12th month of that new employee working for you that you actually get to keep them. We didn't go into any of the how to keep them. We just scratched the surface on how to catch them.
Well, they got it, and that's why. But Trevor, that's why it's so important for us to make sure we give them a little bit, but not too much, because people need to understand and respect the value in what you're doing. It's so interesting to me that people will go and pay $1,000 to go to an event with a panel of reality TV stars, but they wouldn't pay you $100 to get all this doggone great information that's going to make their business a six-figure business. And they know I don't mind talking about it, because I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to be respected. And I'm telling the truth. So, I don't want you to give it all away, but what I will say is you will be back. I'm going to bring you back.
We got other things to talk about.
We do. And you know what? And honestly, what I really want to do, Trevor, and we'll talk about it more offline, but I want to make this, a weekly rotation. I want us to have a weekly rotation where, we can really give, important, valuable information. And then what we're going to do, there's going to be a convention. There's going to be an Agile Hiring convention. And we are going to have it in the States. We're going to have it up there in New York, so that the people in Canada don't have no problem getting there, and the people in the States don't have no problem getting there. And we're going to make it work. And the reason we're going to do this is because I am sick and tired of being sick and tired of all these doggone folks that really don't know what in the flip they talking about, coming on here and flipping their gums about stuff that really and truly they have no theoretical foundation for. And let me tell you, you need a theoretical foundation for all of this stuff. And Trevor has it for you. agilehiring.ca.
The world is changing, and we better start changing with it, or Absolutely. You're going to get left behind.
Absolutely.
That's the truth.
Absolutely.
And hiring, it's changed. It's so changed.
Yes.
But we're still using the same old crap and expecting the same old results.
That's the definition of what? Insanity.
Insanity, right? Yeah, exactly.
The definition. Exactly. You know what? Trevor, for real, guys, this is the thing. Y'all know I love intellectual people, right? I like to have fun and I like to talk foolish, but anybody that knows me knows, academia is my thing. And Trevor, I love when I can sit down with somebody like yourself and really, really have an intellectual conversation where it's fact based and based on empirical data and not based on popularity and social media numbers. So thank you so much. And like I said, guys, this isn't the end. This is not the last time you're going to see Trevor. We are going to talk a little bit more, and we're going to put some things together because, Trevor, there's a whole audience of people that you need to be in front of that I don't even think you've tapped into. But, baby, you connected to me now, and we're going to make it happen, and we're going to do what we need to do to propel Gen Zers forward, but to also bring our Gen Xers and Gen Yers to the forefront so that we can truly capitalize on the funding that's out there for us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So you can find me on all the socials. I'm on LinkedIn. That's where you're going to find all my business stuff. Trevor Bruintjes. My main company is called Peaks and Valleys Strategic Business Development. Its main website is pvsbd.ca. Agile Hiring is specifically the hiring portion of PVSBD's stuff. But you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. You know where to look.
Absolutely.
You'll find me.
Absolutely. Well, guys, it has been a wonderful evening with Trevor. Y'all notice I did not even try to say his last name because I wasn't gonna butcher it, but I'm gonna try it. Bruintjes.
You totally missed it. It's a Dutch last name, and so it's if you were Dutch, it'd be Bruintjes.
Bruintjes.
But for us Canadians and Americans, I'll take breakfast and lunches. I'll take a brunches, please.
Okay, Trevor Bruintjes. So guys, Trevor Bruintjes has been amazing tonight. Thank you so much, Trevor. We definitely are going to reconnect so that we can put some things together for in the future. But thank you so much for coming through tonight and dropping so much information. You definitely brought us the jewels tonight. You know we're always here to bring you joy, jewels, and justice. So Trevor, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, darling. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. It's another fantabulous Tuesday. It's your girl, Lillie Mae, and we are signing out. Remember, we will be back next week with the Grammy-nominated dynamic duo, Terry and Helen, so you don't want to miss them. But, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, peace and love, everyone.